Hello little friends, welcome back to our channel, Wisdom for Kids. I'm so happy you're joining me again. Last time, we heard the sad story of Cain and Abel, two brothers with very different hearts. Cain chose anger, and it led to something terrible, but we also saw that God still showed mercy. Today, we're going to look at something different, a story of someone who lived a quiet but amazing life. Someone who walked so closely with God that he never died. Today's story is all about Enoch, a man who pleased God with how he lived. Are you ready? Let's begin our journey through Genesis chapter 5. Episode 5. Enoch walked with God. Genesis chapter 5. Genesis chapter 5 may look like a long list of names. It tells us about the family line of Adam from his children to his great-great-great-great-grandchildren. But it's more than a list. It's a record of people who lived, had families, and were part of God's big story. And in the middle of this list is a man named Enoch. His story is short, but it is very powerful. Let's begin with how the chapter starts. In Genesis 5:1-2, we're reminded that God created people in his own image. He made them male and female and blessed them. He called them mankind. Adam lived 930 years, and he had many sons and daughters. Genesis 5:3-5. Then came Seth, Adam's son, and Seth's children, and their children, and so on. Each man is listed with 3 things: how long he lived, the children he had, and that eventually he died. Over and over, we read the words, and then he died. But then we meet Enoch. Something different happens. Genesis 5:21 tells us that Enoch had a son named Methuselah when he was 65 years old. After that, Enoch lived another 300 years. But there's something special here. The Bible says Enoch walked with God, Genesis 5:22. That's different from everyone else in the list. Enoch didn't just live, he walked with God. That means he had a close relationship with God. He talked with God, he listened to him. He followed God's ways. He trusted God and loved him deeply. In a world that was starting to forget about God, Enoch chose to stay close. He didn't let the people around him change his heart. He chose to please God. And then comes the most amazing part. Genesis 5:24 says, Enoch walked faithfully with God. Then he was no more because God took him away. Wait, what? Everyone else in the chapter lived, had children, and then died. But not Enoch. He didn't die. God simply took him away. One moment, Enoch was walking on earth, and the next moment, he was walking in heaven with God. It was like God said, "You love me so much, and I love you. Why don't you just come home with me now?" Enoch didn't have to face death. He was taken straight to be with God. Isn't that amazing? He's one of only 2 people in the Bible who never died. The other was Elijah, who went to heaven in a chariot of fire. But that's a story for another time. So what does Enoch's life teach us? It teaches us that the most important thing in life is not how long we live, but how we live. Enoch didn't build cities. He didn't lead armies. He didn't write books or become famous, but he did the most important thing anyone can do. He walked with God. Even though we don't know many details about his life, God made sure we would remember him forever. Later in the Bible, in Hebrews 11-5, it says, "By faith Enoch was taken from this life so that he did not experience death. For before he was taken, he was commended as one who pleased God." And in Jude 1:14-15, Enoch is even described as a man who spoke for God, a prophet. Enoch's quiet faith made a big difference. God loved Enoch's heart, and Enoch loved God with his whole life. Today, we learned that walking with God is the best way to live. Enoch wasn't perfect, but he stayed close to God. He trusted him, obeyed him, and lived each day in friendship with him. You don't have to be famous to please God. You don't have to do big things to walk with him. You just need to talk to him. Listen to him. Choose what is right. And love him more than anything else. Every time you choose kindness over anger, every time you tell the truth, every time you pray, you are walking with God just like Enoch. And guess what? God sees it, he notices, and it brings him joy. So let's choose to walk with God just like Enoch did. Not just on Sundays, not just when things go well, but every single day. See you next time, friends. Our next story will be about a man who built a giant boat, listened to God when no one else would, and saved his whole family from a great flood. Do you know his name? That's right, it's Noah. Don't miss our next episode. Good night and sleep tight.